Yo, what's going on, y'all? You're back. I want to thank you if you're tuning in. I'm your host, Paco. You're listening to Occupy the Media. Shout out to the people in the chat room. I appreciate you guys, keeping me up here, keeping the sleep out of my eyes. You know, it's early over here on the West Coast, 7:30. Sun is just out. Hopefully the weather will be good today. If you're in Los Angeles or Pasadena area, we will be doing a tabling event at Pasadena City College today, trying to get more people registered for Ron Paul, talk to some more college students about him. So that should be great. All right, so anyways, let's get back into this interview. We were at MSNBC. What is this, Alex Witt, or whatever her name is, talking about Ron Paul leaving but gaining delegates.
All have to vote for Romney, and just in 9 states they have to, right?
Right, and in some of them
they're not committed.
Well, but this again points to Romney as a candidate having a really hard time building a coalition, which is different, I think, than the Tea Party, although that's certainly a strain of Ron Paul's support base. When we talk about Ron Paul on this show, when I talk about Ron Paul, I think, in large part we sort of dismiss his lasting legacy in the Republican Party, because I do think there will be some moment of sort of wagon circling after November, depending on what happens. If Mitt Romney loses, I think a lot of attention will be paid to Ron Paul and his message, because it really does resonate with younger voters, and they are true believers in this message. And when you talk about where does sort of Ron Paul go from here, I mean, I think in many ways he could be positioned as an elder statesman.
He goes to Rand.
He goes to Rand.
He's got a database now, and he's got a following that he can just transfer to Rand in 2016. So this is very valuable for his son.
And Rand Paul is, is a basically close to a mainstream Republican figure who's a credible contender for the nomination in 2016. Yep. Got elected statewide, something that's unimaginable for Paul.
And I'm dying to see what his supporters do at the convention. Whether they're comic relief, whether they really stage some noisy protests, whether they light up a bunch of joints. I think this has got to add some interest.
Wait, can there be a?
Okay, hold on, let me stop for a second. Well, now we're gonna light up joints at the convention. It's amazing. We're the comic relief. Mitt Romney should come to the convention so he can do a comedy act. He's the comic relief. He's the joke. It's so amazing how they could just sit on TV and talk about us, and then talk about his good about his son while they joking about his dad. Oh, his dad couldn't have done that. Yeah, Rand Paul is more acceptable or something. Now, I don't follow Rand Paul as close as I do Ron Paul. I know he does his thing, and I definitely appreciate it. But he doesn't have the background or the experience or the record that his dad has, and they know that. So, just off default, Ron Paul is a bigger threat than his own son is, and he knows that. Everyone knows that. And I hope that Rand Paul will continue his legacy. But they need to stop up here with these jokes, like we're the ones causing problems or protests. That's right. We are. I'm sorry, but I'm protesting if the things ain't going right. If there's cheating going on at the convention, whatever. Forget all that. Being nice, sit back. Well, I'm all for being respectful, but they not about to take the revolution from us. Not right under our noses. Forget that.
Hot smoking, rabble-rousing, dreadlocked contingent in Tampa. The media would certainly hope so, right, Ben?
We do hope so, yeah. I mean, they're being told to behave, though. Benton said on the call repeatedly they were gonna try to tell the people in Tampa to behave themselves.
Well, and Charlie Mattizian in Politico yesterday said, my own sense is that Paul is sending a tacit message to the GOP establishment that he's not interested in subverting the convention. He's made his point and is standing down.
Although his control over his own supporters in situations like that does not strike me as a total.
But that you talk about Rand in 2016. That's Ron Paul's incentive to keep his crowd under control.
That's Romney's leverage.
I don't want to be blamed for Chicago 68 on the Republican side.
Right, the father and son team.
Man, whatever. Ron Paul wants to make sure we're quiet. He doesn't want to be blamed. Forget that. And here's another thing people need to understand. Ron Paul don't control us. Okay, nobody controls us. It more or less it's the ideas that control us, and we're going to stick to that. Ron Paul can come out and say, you guys be respectful, be quiet, and let's just get through this, whatever the case may. He may tell us, if he came out and basically said for us to lie down at the convention. I'm telling you right now, I don't think everybody would do it. We love Ron Paul, got nothing but respect for Ron Paul. But it's too late now. The cat out of the hat, the dog out of the bag, whatever the saying is, it's a wrap now, man. And no politician, nobody, not even Ron Paul, is going to stop this revolution if they wanted to. No one's going to slow it down or calm us down. Again, I'm all for being respectful. I'm not saying that we need to go out throwing punches, even though some of us may feel like it, because I know I do. But at the same time, we're not going to be ran over. And we're not going to allow this convention to be a big media propaganda film. Because we're being quiet and sitting there and going right along, they're going to make it seem like we're all unified. We're all under one big tent for Mitt Romney. And that's what we got to be careful. That is what they're trying to get from these conventions. If they get any video footage, camera footage, whatever, they want some type of sign that shows us unified, even if it's not true, even if they can just fake it and lie about it. You know, they want that. And when we're booing and when we're showing discourse and we're showing dissatisfaction and we're doing conventions outside, that breaks their narrative. That hurts them. The media can't grab that. They can't grasp onto that. So instead, they got to come on TV and sound stupid because they can't come up with excuses on why Ron Paul's winning delegates, but he's not running. And he's not running to win. He's just running for the platform. Man, the platform, man. Forget the platform. We need to change the Republican Party, become committee man, committee woman. All that is great. But I'll tell you something. We got in this race for Ron Paul to be president. That was the number one thing, and we're still after that. Ain't nothing going to change. The media talking about us like we're slowly but surely going to come around to Mitt Romney. And we're going to get on Jesse Benton in a little bit because there's a couple things he said in that conference call that I wasn't really happy with. Okay, so that was on MSNBC. So I played you. So it looks like I played you guys all the local clips that came out for Ron Paul, all of the media clips that came out for Ron Paul so far. What do we have left coming up? Let's see. Doug Weed did an interview. We'll probably play that later. Also, if you didn't hear, Ben Swan was on, what's this, 55 KRC radio. So we might check that one out later. And let's see what else is going on. Occupy Wall Street, more Ron Paul revolution than Arab Spring. That's over at RT, so we might check that out. And, oh, yeah, okay. So we're going to have to jump into this one. Ron Paul on PBS. If you guys didn't check this out, we'll go ahead and see if we can get through some of it real quick for you. I know we're not going to finish all of it before the break, but let's go ahead and pull this one up for you. It's amazing, you guys. Just trying to keep building up that perception. Ron Paul's out of it. No chance. Don't even know why he's running. This dude right here from Las Vegas that's going to be on this show right here, he gets on my nerves. Local scum right here. Local media whore.
Sounds like Vegas.
Finally tonight, Texas Congressman Ron Paul's announcement that he is suspending his campaign for president. Paul's camp says that it will not spend any more money in Republican primaries, but will continue to try to amass delegates to the Republican National Convention through district and state party conventions. In a memo, Chief Strategist Jesse Benton said Paul won't quit, even while acknowledging Mitt Romney's certain nomination. He wrote, "Our delegates can still make a major impact at the National Convention and beyond." But many of Paul's active grassroots supporters apparently aren't happy, insisting he has a chance still to grab the nomination. Well, to help us sort all this out, we're joined by John Ralston, political columnist with the Las Vegas Sun, and Brian Doherty. He's an editor at the libertarian-leading magazine Reason. He is the author of the new book, Ron Paul's Revolution, the man and the movement he inspired. Gentlemen, thank you both for being with us. John Ralston, to you first. It hasn't been a secret for some time that Mitt Romney's has this nomination locked up. So what precipitated this announcement from the Paul camp?
Well, I think he's out of money, Judy, and that's the real problem for him in terms of going forward. So he's going to do something that no other candidate in history has. He's going to run backwards.
Oh, my goodness. I feel like just knocking this dude straight out through my laptop, man. I stopped it because we're about to go to a break. But Ron Paul's going backwards now. He's not even running no more. He's going to go to states that are done now. Yeah, because we got to get these delegates, man, not the votes when the votes are being tampered with. We know Ron Paul's winning every state, but y'all, all these shenanigans going on, and you ain't calling them out. Anyways, we'll be right back. I'm Paco.
Hi, I'm Dana, and I started out as a Ron Paul fan just like you. And now I'm a full-time volunteer leader at our Ron Paul headquarters in Venice, California. It starts with the first